everyone, I'm Emma, and I'm your storyteller for today. Tonight's story is called How Not to Go to School. Parsley Mimblewood Saves the World, and it's written by Mike Forde and illustrated by Rebecca Sampson. Chapter 3. What about friends? Monday, 30th of March, 2020. Sometimes I think imaginary friends are better than real friends. They never argue about what game to play, and they always know exactly how you're feeling. And they don't have any bad habits, like farting, except for Fartbot, the imaginary farting robot, or picking their noses, apart from Norbert, Noseful. He's another one of my imaginary friends, and he keeps all his things in his nose. In his left nostril he keeps his violin, his paintbrushes, and his pet mouse. In his right nostril he keeps his golf clubs and his pet elephant. In total, I have 7 imaginary friends. Number 1, Evil Egbert. He's about the size of an egg, and he sits on my shoulder telling me to do shockingly evil things. Once he told me to trap my little brother under a laundry basket with 3 heavy dictionaries on top to stop him escaping. Don't worry, I almost never do what Egbert tells me to. Number 2, Norbert Noseful. Everybody already knows about him. Number 3, Parsley, the imaginary guinea pig. I invented her before I had any real guinea pigs, and then it wouldn't have been fair to get rid of her just because I got real ones. Anyway, the real guinea pigs don't mind that she's imaginary. Also, I named her after myself because I was really young then and didn't have a very good imagination. Number 4, Pom-Pom, the ninja. He's an imaginary ninja who looks after the imaginary unicorns at the end of my garden. Sometimes the other ninjas make fun of him for liking unicorns so much, but he doesn't mind because unicorns are awesome. They eat fairy dust and poop rainbows. Number 5, Detective Inspector Dracula. A vampire who is also a detective. Quite a lot of the time it turns out that Detective Dracula was the murderer as well as the detective, which makes everything a bit awkward. Number 6, the Reading Dog. The Reading Dog is one of those big shaggy brown dogs who just loves books. He loves nothing better than to snuggle up and read my book over my shoulder. Number 7, Fartbot. A genius scientist created him with cutting-edge fart extinguishing technology, but unfortunately the scientist got distracted and put the nozzle on backwards. So now Fartbot just farts a lot. Most of the time this is kind of nasty, but sometimes it's useful to have someone else to blame. Today I was in the garden with Detective Dracula trying to solve the mystery of the sheep skull on the wall. How did it get there? Who killed the sheep? What happened to the rest of its body? I had 2 suspects. First, my brother Beau. He is always digging around in the dirt, unearthing rotten old things, and he won't let us throw them away because he calls them his treasures. One time he found a black leathery bird's claw the size of his fist. He carried it around tied to a piece of string for weeks until Mum accidentally threw it in the bin. My other suspect is Detective Dracula himself, but I couldn't work out how an imaginary vampire could lift a real sheep's skull. I was stumped, and so was Detective Dracula. That's the problem with imaginary friends. When you run out of ideas, so do they. So, I decided to send for backup. I ran inside and grabbed the enchanted tablet. It looks and works just like a normal tablet, except it uses magic instead of electronics. That's how I like to talk to my best friend Tui, pronounced 2E. There are lots of brilliant things about Tui like that. That she can speak Maori, and she is always always the best ideas for games, and her hair is a different colour each week, and she always knows how to solve a mystery. But there's one terrible, horrible, atrocious thing about Tui. She lives in New Zealand. That's on the other side of the world, so I can only talk to her by magic electronic tablets. Tui cracked the case immediately. Detective Dracula must have used his evil vampire powers to possess Bo and make him put the skull on the wall. Then we played some games together, because even though we're best friends, sometimes it's a bit difficult just talking through an enchanted portal. I don't know what grown-ups blabber on about for hours and hours. After talking to Tui, I felt happy, but I also felt sad that she lives so far away. When I feel like this, imaginary friends aren't much help, because they just feel the same way as me. So I wrote a postcard full of my questions for my Gran. My Gran is tiny. Not tiny like evil Egbert, but she is smaller than me. Sometimes I think she's so small that she's not really a grown-up. She's more of a grown-down. Normal grown-ups are so busy worrying about crystals and getting superglue out of Bo's hair, but my Gran always has time to understand. Here are some of the questions that I asked her. Did you ever have an imaginary friend? Who do you miss seeing the most at the moment? How should I keep in touch with my friends? What do you think we should do when we get to meet up again in real life? That's the end of tonight's chapter. Night night. See you soon.